What is up, fight fans? We are back with my nightmare matchup series where I talk about nightmare matchups for champions in every weight class. And this is my 2025 edition, part 2. In part 1, I covered weight classes from strawweight all the way to the lightweight division. And now in part 2, we have 4 more weight classes left, starting with the welterweight division, where the newly crowned welterweight king is Jack Della Maddalena. Some of the best hands in the welterweight division, really good boxer with heavy hands, really dangerous and effective inside the pocket. And on top of what makes him so good in the stand-up, his takedown defense has improved by a lot. He's hard to hold down, so that just makes him an even more dangerous fighter to go up against. The guy with dangerous boxing, heavy hands, and good takedown defense. However, even with the improvements that he made and with him now becoming the champion, he's not unbeatable, and this welterweight division is super talent stacked. A lot of killers, a lot of tough matchups, and one matchup that stands out to me the most in the welterweight division that I see as one of the worst matchups for JDM is Sean Brady. I believe he's the best wrestler at 170 pounds, even a better wrestler than JDM's last opponent, Belal Muhammad. And unlike Belal, I don't think Brady is going to take that risk trying to test the stand-up and go toe-to-toe with JDM. He's going to be smart. He's going to try to work that wrestling, and I believe that Brady's takedowns are way harder to defend than Belal Muhammad's. He chain wrestles better than Belal, and his top control, his top pressure is so smothering, and he has a finishing threat on the ground as well. He could get submissions, and he's also very physically strong too. Like, he's very difficult to fight, very difficult style to go up against. And I think the level of danger that Brady brings to the champion JDM is a 7 out of 10. And the second runner-up will be JDM's next opponent, Islam Makhachev, who's moving up to 170 to challenge for JDM's belt. I have him slightly behind Brady just because I'm not really sure how Makhachev is going to look at 170 pounds. But we know what makes Islam Makhachev dangerous. It's his ability to chain wrestle, control his opponents on the ground, and he can get submissions as well. Kind of similar to Sean Brady, but I think even better than Brady in a sense. And if JDM's not careful in trying to get back to his feet, he could definitely run into a submission. And striking-wise, Islam Makhachev is very good. He's a very complete fighter. He also has power as well, good striking defense. And if Makhachev shows up at 170, an even more dangerous version of himself, if he comes in more filled in, more stronger, more powerful, without having to cut all that weight, Jack Della Maddalena very well may have his hands full against Islam. And we could be seeing Islam becoming double champ potentially. And the third runner-up will be Shavkat Nomad Rakhmonov. He is a threat to JDM everywhere, from the striking to the grappling. I mean, this guy, he can do it all, and he's finished almost all of his fights, 19-0 undefeated, and 18 finishes out of those 19 wins. He's got knockouts, he's got submissions, he's very durable, he can take the shots of JDM, and he's very scrappy. He's got a lot of smothering pressure, and he hits very hard. And JDM was taking a lot of clean shots from Belal Muhammad, and if it's Shavkat Rakhmonov walking you down and landing those shots, he's going to land with a lot more power. It's going to be a lot more devastating, and he's got potential to put JDM away with those shots. And he could even submit JDM if he can get him down. He is a multi-dimensional threat. And the fourth runner-up will be Ian Machado Gary. You may not like him, but he is a very skilled fighter. And what makes him so difficult to fight and difficult for JDM is the fact that Ian Gary is very good at neutralizing your offense and kind of forcing you to fight his fight to his game. JDM excels in boxing range, in close. That's where he's going to want to get Ian Gary, but Ian is very good at keeping his distance. He's got a lot of experience against powerful strikers, and he's very elusive. He's hard to hit clean, and if he can keep JDM at kicking range, he could potentially outpoint Jack Della Maddalena. And as for the middleweight division, the middleweight champion, Dricus Du Plessis. Dricus Du Plessis right now is on a generational run, beating former champion after former champion, finishes over Robert the Reaper Whittaker and Israel the Last Stylebender Adesanya, beating Sean Strickland twice. 2 defenses of his middleweight crown. I mean, this guy right now is looking unstoppable. And what makes things even more scary is that DDP is showing evolution past that Looney Tunes style. In that last fight against Strickland, he showed to be more technical than he's ever looked, which is absolutely scary, just given what Dricus brings to the table already with his knockout power, with his grappling, and his unorthodox, awkward striking. I mean, DDP is an absolute problem, but the problem for Dricus Du Plessis in this division, the nightmare matchup for DDP, is still Khamzat Chimaev, and now he is the #1 nightmare matchup for Dricus Du Plessis. I believe he is the worst matchup for DDP in the entire middleweight division. Usually Dricus Du Plessis has a physicality advantage over his opponents. Usually he has the grappling ground game advantage over his opponents, but not when he fights Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev is the one man who can out-wrestle him, who can dominate him on the ground, who has a size advantage, who has a strength advantage, and it's going to be that opening round that's going to be the most dangerous for Dricus Du Plessis, because Khamzat Chimaev, he starts super fast, he's very explosive. Right out the opening gate, he's already on your legs, shooting a takedown, and once he shoots that opening takedown, you're helpless. There's nothing you can do about it. He will take you down, and DDP will undeniably get put on his back in the first round. And Khamzat Chimaev is extremely smothering once he gets you down, and he's very fast with his transitions on the ground, transitioning from one dominant position to another. He's very quick to get your back and flatten you out like he did to Robert Whittaker in that last fight. And even when he fought Kamaru Usman, the way he got to his back and almost submitted him, he'll definitely get the back of DDP, and DDP is going to be forced into survival mode early into that fight. He's going to have to watch his neck, and I think the big question of that fight is, can DDP survive the opening round? Can he get through the first round against Khamzat Chimaev? But another question is, if Khamzat can't get an early finish, can Khamzat keep up that pace for 5 rounds? Will he show any improvements in his cardio? Because if he does, I think this fight might be next to impossible for Dricus Du Plessis to win, and the level of danger that Khamzat Chimaev brings to the champion will go up, increasing to an 8 out of 10 compared to last time where it was a 6. But after seeing that Robert Whittaker fight, I feel like Khamzat is going to be even more dangerous for Dricus Du Plessis than ever, especially considering this will be his first title fight. I believe we're going to see the best version of Khamzat. We might see peak Khamzat, which is scary for the champion, Dricus Du Plessis. And the second runner-up will be Nassourdine Imavov. Nassourdine Imavov beat Israel Adesanya easier and quicker than DDP did, where he knocked him out in the second round, showing improvements in his ability to sit down in his punches and throw with more power, because originally his finishes either came by submissions on the ground or ground and pound or just damage and accumulation, but now he's thrown with more power. So I believe he has enough pop to get DDP's respect on the feet. He's more technical on the feet than Dricus Du Plessis, better striker, and he's got good takedown defense. And also, he's got good knees up the middle as well, which could be effective against Dricus because Dricus does dip his head a lot and his body is open. And I believe Magomed could also exploit that weakness that Adesanya exposed by ripping to the body. And Magomed overall is very dangerous for DDP, and he's only getting better. And I believe he has a very underrated shot at dethroning the champion. Dricus still knocks Du Plessis. And next up, we have the light heavyweight division, where just recently Magomed Ankalaev broke through, becoming the UFC light heavyweight champion, which felt long overdue. Always felt like he was the uncrowned champion. He just recently dethroned Alex Poatan Pereira, and he beat him in a way that was kind of unexpected. Alex Pereira showed very good takedown defense, but Magomed Ankalaev surprised a lot of people by being able to outstrike one of the scariest strikers, if not the scariest striker in the UFC. And that kind of was a reminder that Ankalaev is a very good striker as well as he is a very good wrestler, and he's a striker first. He's got some of the best boxing in the light heavyweight division. He's got underrated power. He's got very solid striking defense, very good pressure as well. And I mentioned the wrestling prior. He does have that wrestling to fall back on if he needs to. He's on a 12-fight winning streak, has not lost a fight in 7 years. However, I believe if there's anyone in this division who could be a threat to Magomed and is the nightmare matchup, I believe that man is Jiri Prochazka. Of all of Magomed Ankalaev's opponents, I believe Jiri Prochazka would be the guy who wouldn't show much respect for Magomed Ankalaev's counter-striking. I don't think he'd be afraid. Alex Pereira was very hesitant in that fight, very respectful. Jiri Prochazka has a very smothering, pressuring, chaotic style, and he hits very hard. Hard enough to get Ankalaev's respect, to even hurt him. He has that threat of being able to knock out Magomed Ankalaev. That's what makes him so dangerous. The way he fights, yes, he could put himself in danger, but he also puts his opponents in danger because it gives him a chance to go out there and make something happen, whereas most guys won't take chances against Magomed Ankalaev, which makes things very interesting. Jiri's striking is also extremely unorthodox, very tricky, very creative, and on top of all of that, he's improving his striking defense. He implemented a lot of head movement against his last opponent, Jamal Hill. He showed a better ability to counterpunch, which I believe makes him even more dangerous than ever. And he also has very good takedown defense as well. So Ankalaev would have a tough time getting the fight to the ground. And we all know that in the striking, it could be dangerous as well. And the level of danger that Jiri Prochazka brings to the champion is a 5.2 out of 10. And the second runner-up will be Magomed Ankalaev's last opponent, Alex Poatan Pereira. Regardless of how that last fight went and how Ankalaev beat him, I still think that Alex Pereira is a very dangerous opponent for Ankalaev and still a potential threat in a rematch because he was able to defend all of Magomed Ankalaev's takedowns and he didn't get hurt that badly. He didn't take that much damage. And he mainly lost that fight through just not pulling the trigger, being hesitant, respecting Ankalaev too much. But now that he knows he can defend takedowns from Ank, that's got to be a huge confidence booster. And if Alex Pereira is just a little bit more aggressive, does a little bit more, especially considering how competitive that fight was, he has a very good chance of winning. He always has that nuclear option. He still has the touch of death And if Magomed Ankalaev gets overconfident by any means based off how well he did last time or how he won the last fight, that could spell trouble for Magomed Ankalaev. And now Alex Pereira has vengeance on his mind. He's going to be motivated to get this one back. He's taken a lot of time off, and I believe we could see a better Alex Pereira next time out. And for the final weight class, we have the heavyweight division, where now the roles are reversed. Initially, Jon Jones was the undisputed champion. Aspinall was the interim champion, waiting for either Jon Jones to fight him or retire. Then Jon Jones retired. Then Tom got promoted to undisputed. And now Jon Jones is back in the testing pool. So I guess now I'm going to have to make the nightmare matchup for Aspinall, Jon Jones. Before, it was Aspinall for Jones. But as well as Aspinall is a bad matchup for Jon Jones, there are elements to Jon Jones's game that make him a bad matchup for Tom Aspinall. We know Aspinall is faster and a better striker and has better footwork, better hands, a lot of power, and can grapple. But Jon Jones has a lot of experience, a lot of grit, very tough, and he can test Tom Aspinall in ways that Tom hasn't yet been tested. Aspinall's defensive wrestling hasn't yet been tested, and we know that Jon Jones has very good wrestling, especially in the heavyweight division. His wrestling is much better. His takedowns are a lot harder to defend, and when he gets you down, his ground and pound is ferocious, but he has good submissions. But another way that he can test Tom Aspinall is cardio. We've not seen Tom Aspinall go past 2 rounds. We don't know how he looks in round 3, round 4, whereas Jon Jones, we've seen him in those deep waters. And if Tom Aspinall is unable to get Jon Jones out of there early, there's a good chance that Jon Jones could wear Aspinall down as the fight goes on, use that wrestling and just maul Aspinall and potentially get a late rounds finish. And Jon Jones, with him being unretired, he's not guaranteed to fight Tom. He's just keeping his options open. But if he locks in, or should the time come where Jon Jones decides that he wants to fight Aspinall, if Aspinall impresses him with a good enough title run, I think he does have a very good chance at winning. More than a chance, and the level of danger that Jon Jones brings to Tom Aspinall is a 7 out of 10. And the second runner-up will be Jailton Almeida, an offensive wrestling threat, very fast, explosive shots, and once he gets you down, it's hard to escape from bottom, and he's got a very dangerous submission game along with really good ground and pound, and he's freakishly strong, freakishly athletic, and Aspinall does not want to let this guy get a hold of him or get him down, because the ground game, that is where Almeida will shine. And for the third runner-up, Cyril Bangamangan, another really good striker, definitely would be the best striker Aspinall will have ever faced. Gain is a guy who can match him in footwork, speed. Gain has some of the best distance management and distance awareness than anyone else that Aspinall has ever fought before. Very elusive, very hard to catch clean, and in just purely striking, I believe he gives Aspinall a hard time, and if he can close that gap in his takedown defense, he's got a very good shot at winning. But that concludes my nightmare matchups for champions in every division 2025 edition. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree with these nightmare matchups? Is there anyone you'd want to add? Like and subscribe, and peace out.